Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Joey again. You're watching Vegas D-Tech. How you guys doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. Well, we're back out at the wash today. We got some, we've actually been getting some rain. And if you take a look down here, take a look at how the wash is just like piling up. You got kids playing down in it right now. Pretty good, pretty good. But guys, I got a report that I wanted to break with you here. We got the new Lake Mead federal demands, and it came in on the new the outdoor water restriction guide that we normally get. But I want to go through them with you because it's more than just state right now. It's actually got the federal mandates. But before we get into this, guys, if you guys can do me a kindness, please, if you guys find this type of information useful and beneficial, do me a kindness, guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. It helps me appease the algorithm for YouTube so that I can get these updates and reports up to you onto your home screen in a timely fashion as soon as I can get them up, okay? So let's just go ahead and get into this report. All right, so we normally have this like water guide that we get every so often. It looks something like this. And it just basically tells you stuff like, you know, follow, report, remove, follow mandatory watering, report water waste, and remove turf and grass. You know, la-di-da-di, yada-yada, right? But on the back side, and I knew it was eventually going to come, they went ahead and gave the new federal demand state water cut use. Now let me read some of this stuff that and I knew it was going to come because they said that all of these water authorities for every state, upper and lower basin, they had until August 15th to come up with a guideline, or Department of Interior was going to step in and do it for them. And let me tell you guys something. When the Department of Reclamations decides to come in, the federal government does not use scalpels when they come in and do things. They come in with broadswords, man. You do not want them taking over control. It's just a bad situation and nobody wants, okay? So anyways, I knew that this was going to happen, and I knew eventually, I said, what are the new guidelines going to be? Because the states are going to have to do something to change what's been going on. And you know, it's so much irony. I'm out here right now talking to you about drought, and it's literally raining on me. But I can tell you today, this flash floods right here are actually pretty serious. And if you could take a look at this here, I'm going to try to bring you in and show you how this thing looks like here in the wash, right? We're back at the wash again, guys. This time though, it's not extreme drought. Now we're dealing with flash floods. And to think, guys, all this water that you see right here is probably only going to add maybe 2 to 3 inches to the level at Lake Mead. But nevertheless, man, we're thankful to have whatever we can get. Flash floods everywhere. Because I wanted to show you how quickly a flash flood can happen here in Vegas. And the reason why flash floods happen here in Vegas is because it is so dry that the ground, it doesn't absorb anything. When water actually lands on the ground, instead of it being absorbed, it just turns into it acts like it's concrete. And when the water hits it, it just flows right across the ground, and it just flows right down to its lowest point. And then that's how you get these flash floods going on down here, just like this. They just collect and pool at the lowest point. But anyways, man, let me go ahead and get to this little report here with you. I'm going to read off some of the stuff here that I find important and tell me what you guys think. So Lake Mead water supply update. It said, the feds demand state cut water use. All right, so check this out. The federal government has directed the states that share the Colorado to reduce their river use by 2 to 4 million acre feet. Bro, so many of the water authorities says that's impossible. There is absolutely no way that we can cut 2 to 4 million acre feet. They said that's more than some of the upper basin states actually use, period. And they want us to completely save that much, right? And it says here that this mandate is in addition to last year's federal storage reductions, okay? It says this is the largest reduction of water use ever ordered on the Colorado. Look at that. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, it says this is the largest reduction of water ever ordered on the Colorado. Let me tell you guys, I've been out here since '83 and I've never had mandates like this. That's how serious things are getting through here. This represents this kind of a water order that's been ordered by the feds. It says it represents basically 1/3 of all the water used in the entire system. Yeah, that's how serious they are, right? These, now they're talking about the bans, right? The ban says these includes a ban on new man-made lakes. Oh my goodness, new man-made lakes. What about the man-made lakes that were already out there that I reported on? Lake Las Vegas that everybody either supports or hates, but now they're saying that they cannot support this anymore. No more man-made lakes. No surprise to me. And then it says, and also no more new fountains on the Las Vegas Strip. Okay, no more new fountains. It's about time. It's about time, right? And it says, in addition to these restrictions, no more decorative grass. So when these new homes are being built out here, no more new decorative grass is going to be allowed. Also, evaporative cooling. Many of the old school houses that were up here used to have these like water evap systems. Instead of AC, they had like evaporative coolers. Now they're saying that those evaporative coolers are using too much water and that won't be allowed anymore. Golf courses, they're saying that there's no more there will be no more new golf courses allowed. Yeah, right. Only time will tell on that. And then also it says that the size of new swimming pools, they're cutting it down. I don't know exactly what the dimensions are, but they're saying that they're actually cutting down the sizes of the new swimming pools. Now here's one. Local watering agencies will also be considering water rate hikes and actions. Now go figure that out, man. Water rate hikes, who does that hurt? That hurts general public people, man. You know what? I get comments all the time in my actual inbox, and it's people that have lots of money. They tell me, Joey, your crisis isn't the same as our crisis. Wow, really? Yeah, basically they're saying that, you know what, they can afford, they pay to live in a better neighborhood, above the crime, above the smog, above the smell, and they feel that, you know what, if their neighborhoods can afford to pay for water, then leave them alone. Let them pay for it. Let them have it, right? And see, this is the thing that I hate about, I don't have a problem with people being rich, man, because you know what? As an American, it gives you the aspiration that if you work hard enough and you find a way, you can also attain wealth. So I've always liked that. But what I don't like is the way some people feel that they don't need to abide by the same rules and guidelines that you do. Somehow that they're privileged. And I don't like that privileged aspect of the wealth. All right? And basically what they're saying is that if they can afford to spend the water, it's part of their HOA. They're just like, hey, the HOA in my area, they charge us more money. Whatever fines that the water authority wants to put on us, we just pay that fine as though it's a tax. I mean, what more can you do? I mean, it's not a criminal act to use up more water than you should. All they can do is just charge you more money for what you've been using or charge you a fine. But for the extremely wealthy, what does that mean? It doesn't even mean nothing. They'll just pay it. We want our fountains, we want our pools. But it's really amazing that as a community that we still have people out there that feel that way. That, you know what, stop reporting on the rich neighborhoods because they pay more money to live where they are, and your crisis is not necessarily the same as our crisis. That's basically what they're telling me. All right, so but how I fire back on that is like, you know what, I don't care that you're rich. because the fact of the matter is, so as long as you and I breathe the same air, and as long as you and I are pulling our water out of the same pond, you and I both have the same restrictions. We both have to abide by whatever restrictions are passed down, whether you're rich or you're poor, it doesn't matter. We both are drinking out of the same pond. We both have to abide by these restrictions. And that's my take on it. All right, so anyways, it says right here, now, a lot of the times when I'm watching the Southern Nevada Water Authority, they like to claim that they're doing such a great job. They're saying, oh man, we are, you know, we've gained all these extra people, but yet we still come under our allocation of what we can use. We always come up underneath it. But now it says right here that even though our conservation achievements over the past 20 years have helped our community use water well below our water allocation, this new reduction will require all of us to redouble our conservation efforts. You know? And then they want to show this picture right here of the actual pipe. That's the first intake right there that you're seeing, that it's coming out of the first intake is no good. It's sucking air right now. And we're down on the second intake. And it says Lake Mead has dropped over 170 feet since 2000. And I want to speak upon that too. Lake Mead has dropped 170 feet since 2000 and 24 feet so far this year, exposing the actual intake. Now guys, man, let me tell you, this is the problem that I have with all of this water loss. These people knew since 2000 that they were dealing with this crisis, right? But let's just say that in 2000, you're going to see a graph here of how the water has fallen off since 2000. Now, they've seen that they were losing water. Why didn't they do anything about it? Why didn't they take measures to do anything about it? I have a clip right here where the department, the Water Authority, was actually asked, you know, the questions that I always ask, which is, why won't they cut the development for a while to allow the lake system to gain equilibrium and stabilize? And the gentleman on the Southern Nevada Water Board basically said this. Check it out.
How does the very visible increase in home construction here in the valley affect our future water supply?
There's a couple of big drivers, right? Anybody, you know, who lived in Las Vegas through the recession, you know, remembers, you know, the devastating economic impact zero growth had on our community. About 30% of our economy is construction. So to go from zero, you know, tomorrow would really have a devastating impact on our economy. And it really is about how we grow, not whether we grow.
Yeah, there you have it. So basically what he's saying is that, oh, we can't stop development, even though that's probably a good idea. We can't stop it because it would displace and put out too many construction workers that need jobs. Now look, man, I am a working class individual myself, and I don't want to see nobody put out. I don't want to see nobody, you know, laid off or anything like that. But you know what? Everybody that came to Las Vegas came here because of the boom and the promise of job, because construction was booming. But like everything else, when a boom ends, it ends, right? Now the boom is in other areas of the country, like in Boise, Idaho, big boom going on out there. Austin, Texas, big boom. Texas, big boom. You know what I mean? There's constructions happening in other areas. But Las Vegas needs to stop with all of this development right now, because we are part of a chain in the lower basin of water users that are going through an unprecedented drought. Okay, and although you might want to say that you're not the problem, you're part of the chain. You're part of the chain of the lower states that are having this problem. So it affects you. You might not think you're part of the problem, but man, when this water runs out, you're going to be a whole big part of the suffering. I can tell you that much. All right. So people are asking me too, hey man, you're getting all this new rain and stuff like that, man. Shouldn't this stuff here just fill up the lake? And guys, we have dug ourselves such a big hole that a couple of days, a week's worth of rain is not going to help Lake Mead very much, okay? pretty much when you get a pretty solid rain, it might rain for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and you'll see a bunch of flash floods and so forth. But all it will really do is probably raise the water level probably 2 to 3 inches, and that's about it. But then once they open the spillways and allow all that water to go back down to California, then the sun comes back out. Here comes regular hot days and drought again, and then we're back to where we were. So just a couple of days of just actual rain is not going to actually help the water situation. It'll help vegetation for sure. You don't have to water as much. It'll help the parks and so forth like that. But as far as the overall lake, it's not going to help the actual levels. Sadly, it's not going to help. It's going to take a few years of wetness in order to get this water system to stabilize. Okay, so anyways, what I was trying to say here is that for 22 years they've understood that this drought was going down. Now by 2012 they had lost already almost 100 feet of water, right? So in 2000, when this drought situation happened, how come they didn't, like, okay, by 2012 12 years had already passed and 100 feet of water had already disappeared? Why wasn't that good enough right there for you guys to put these you know, implements in place and start slowing down development, right? Why didn't you make any action then? Nothing was done. And then now you go to 2022 and then we're down to 1,041 feet, and that's 160 feet of water that's gone. You know what I mean? So it took for you to lose 160 feet of water and go to a tier 2B water crisis in order for you to start paying attention. And right now, man, I mean, other than media, other than YouTube starting to go out there and get this, the lake is starting to get nationwide and national news coverage now because of people just can't believe how much water is actually missing out of that reservoir. Now, I wanted to show you guys an analogy, because it isn't good enough. It isn't good enough when people give you numbers. Numbers, man, you know, it goes in your mind and it goes right out your head. When we say that the actual reservoir of Lake Mead is down to around 27%, if I was to go ahead and try to have you guys understand, here's a good idea of what you should do. Go fill your bathtub to about a quarter full, okay? Fill your tub to a quarter full, and then you jump in it and start playing around in your bathtub. That's about how ridiculous it would feel to go and take a bath in a tub that only has a quarter amount of water, but that's how much water the reservoir has in it. 3/4 of the water that was in there is gone, and you're now down to 25 to 27% capacity. It's pretty ridiculous, right? So anyways, here I'm gonna break down another analogy for you, because once again, numbers don't show how important things are or how serious things are. So let me break it down to you here. Here's going to be a graph showing you who gets what. Okay, so what do we have here? You're going to have California taking the lion's share of the water up here, followed by Arizona, followed by Nevada, and then you got to throw in actual Mexico, because Mexico's a part of the equation too. So when you break it down, I'm going to use these pennies to kind of show you how the water appropriation works, so that you guys can kind of get an idea of what it is that I'm talking about. Now, when everybody looks out at Lake Mead, they think, oh man, that's a lot of water, bro. We're not running out of water anytime soon. But what people in Las Vegas don't understand is that the water that you're seeing out there does not belong to you. And I can tell you the numbers, okay? Here, let's take a look at this chart numbers. It shows you down here in the lower basin, California gets 4,400,000 acre feet. Arizona, 2,800,000 acre feet. Mexico, 1,500,000 acre feet, and Nevada gets a paltry 300,000 acre feet. Now guys, what does that actually look like when you're actually taking a look at it? Let me show you how it looks like if I were to break this down into pennies. All right, so if you take a look at this right here, these 15 pennies denote the lion's share of what California gets when it comes down to the water appropriation, okay? Next to that, this is what Arizona gets, 9 pennies of the water appropriation. Mexico gets this much of the 1.5 million acre feet, and Nevada gets that, 300,000 acre feet, okay? California, Arizona, Mexico, Las Vegas. Now guys, I gotta tell you, man, looking at that, I know that the Water Authority, they love to boast about how they're actually using less water than they actually could. All right, so what are they saying here? They're saying that right now they're using 242,000 acre feet worth of water, when in a tier 2B shortage, they have up to 270,000 that they could use. But guys, that is not impressive to me whatsoever, because to me, you guys don't take into consideration the possibility of an unknown factor popping up. What if they make a mistake and they've done it before? The silt in the actual river, they didn't take into consideration the level of silt. So they said they had to make a correction. Okay, and the correction again proved them wrong in their numbers. Then they turn around, and what happens if the actual flow of water is drier than they expected in the Colorado River? Again, another correction that needs to be done. And then what happens if they don't measure correctly for the amount of evaporation in a lake that's low in the channel? The evaporation is going to heat up that water faster, and that water is going to evaporate quicker. What if they don't take that into consideration? Now, how much that buffer that you have between 270 and 242 that you were doing so good, it's right up in your face right now. Why challenge Mother Nature and play this game gambling? You know what I mean? If you need to stop developing for a while, put a moratorium on developing for a while, okay? That's what you have to do, man. Manage yourself better. That's the only reason why I'm out here making these videos, man. I'm not saying that Las Vegas is the actual the dirt bag in this chain. I'm just saying that you've seen how much water is appropriated to Nevada, Las Vegas, okay? Not very much, man. And being that you are like the smallest little speck in the equation, you get the smallest amount of that water. Bro, we just need to make sure that our politicians and bureaucrats are actually appropriating this water right, or else Las Vegas could turn into Lost Egypt here real soon. Guys, this video is getting long enough already right here. Thank you so much again for tuning into this video, paying attention to my little situation report here on the drought and the new federal mandates that have come down through the actual Water Authority. I'm gonna get out of here, man. I've been out here getting rained on here this whole damn time, and my girlfriend's actually down there playing in the wash. So man, all I can hope is that this thing continues, that more water comes, because we need it. Unfortunately, the lake is going to need a whole lot more than just a few good days of rain. We're going to need seasons of this. But anyways, guys, man, thanks a lot again for tuning into this channel, man, and listening to this report. If you haven't done so already, guys, if you find this information useful and beneficial, please do me a favor, just hit subscribe, share this with your colleagues, your friends, and so forth. And dude, help me to appease this algorithm for YouTube, because it's weird, and I just want to get this information out to your channel on your homepage as soon as I get it done. All right, guys, so that's all I've got. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Joey. You're watching Vegas D-Tech. I'll catch you guys on the next video. You guys take it easy now. Bye.